Welcome. Good morning. I'll go ahead and take off my mask now that we're going to be learning virtual today. 3.1 is where we're at today. I've given you a packet, and you have this packet with you. You can also download it off the Google Classroom. But we're going to talk about 3.1 today. 3.1 talks about algebraic expressions. That is our new chapter, and you do have an entire packet. But like I said, we're going to talk about 3.1 reteach. So what is an algebraic expression? An algebraic expression, you have like terms and you have unlike terms. So if you would see an expression that would look like this, 3x plus 5, that's an algebraic expression. An expression is represented by, in some cases, just maybe a variable and a constant along with what we call a coefficient. So that would be what we would call the constant, is the whole number or rational number. We have an x, which is the variable. That could be y, b, n, whatever letter you designate it. And then finally, we have what's in front of the variable, and that would be called the coefficient. We'll talk more about coefficient as we go through this next couple chapters. What we're going to talk about today is understanding the terms and unlike terms of a particular algebraic expression. If you get to 3x plus 5, you've solved the expression. There's not any more you can do. You can't say it's 8x. You can't say it's 3x plus 5 and then make it, times it 15x. No. It's a plus sign in between there, and that's the farthest you can go. Okay? So, in terms, they have the same variables raised to the same exponents. So in this first example here that you have in front of you, you see you have 12x plus 1 plus 4x squared plus minus 13x plus 8 and then plus 3x. So I'm going to get this a little bit for us here so we can really see what we're talking about here. Okay? All right, so I'll erase this up here. Now, we're going to identify the terms. These terms are what's there. Now, you will see this is minus 13x. You're going to always bring the sign that's out in front of it. So if it's a plus, that means it's a positive. If it's going to be subtract, that's going to be a negative. So you have, these are your terms. These are what's listed as your terms. Now, so 12x is a term, 1 is a term, 4x squared is a term, negative 13x is a term.
Pardon the interruption. Teachers, staff members, we will send out an email with a new date for the walking on-campus field trip here today. Due to the inclement weather and the fact that our underground tunnel is still under construction. So that underground tunnel is not completed yet, and I don't want anyone to melt or be cold and wet heading into Crusaders Hall. So that will be postponed. We will try to do that sometime next week or the following week. So look for an email with the change in date. Sorry and thank you.
Okay. Thanks for holding on for that announcement. So we're going to now combine like terms. So when you say, what do you mean by like terms? Well, things that can you add together. Can't add apples and oranges, okay? Maybe if you combine them together to make, how many fruits do you have? But if we're going to say how many apples do we have and how many oranges do we have, they are separate. Just like if there was an x or what we say x squared. X squared, as we talked about earlier, raised to a different exponent, that is a different term. So in this case, 12x and negative 13x is one term. That's going to be together. 4x squared and negative 30x squared is a term. And then 1 and 8 would be terms. Now, if we would go together and go ahead and say combine like terms, which we're going to do later, which would be 12x and negative 13x, that would be just minus x. Now it would be negative 1x. Okay? 4x squared and negative 3x squared. That would just be an x squared. And then 1 and 8, they're both positive, so we'd add. And then in this particular scenario, that is our answer. Negative 1x plus x squared plus 9. That's it. That's our answer. Okay? Down here, they talk about the distributive property. One thing that you guys maybe know about the distributive property, we're going to talk a little bit more about that, is the distributive property talks about distributing what's on the outside to what's on the inside. So in this case, we're distributing the A to both of those. So A times B is AB, plus A times C is AC. So when we have something A, that would be your answer. So for example, if we had 5 plus x plus 2, we would say 5 times x would be 5x, plus 5 plus times 5 multiplied by 2 would be plus 10. That would be our answer. We would stop right there. We couldn't go any further. Okay. So, I want you to go to page 80 on the back side of this. Here we teach. Okay. Now, with the back side of we teach, we're going to do a couple examples together. In this one, we are going to simplify 8.4x minus 2.2x. So in that case, we would just subtract these two because they are x's, and the answer would be 6.2x. There's one here that I want you to go ahead and follow. You can look through that. And we're going to go ahead and show you some more examples. I'm not going to spend time going over that example as I'm going to go over some of these. All right. So the first problem, make sure that you can see that. So 4.2x minus 3.9 minus 5.1x plus 6. So we're going to say, it says identify how many terms. Well, we know there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's how many terms? There's 4 terms. Terms are separated by an addition or subtraction sign. Subtraction, subtraction, addition, there's 4 terms. Now, let's look at the like terms. Like would be 4.2x and negative 5.1x. That would be a set of terms that would be alike. And the other set of terms that would be alike, that would be there, and there. And the other ones alike would be negative 3.9 and 6. Okay. This one, we would have 1, 2, 3, 4 again. Our terms, negative 7m and positive 1.5m. And then the constants are 16 and 8. Okay, let's do some examples. I'm going to go ahead and go to number 3 down here so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So what's the answer there? Well, you combine like terms. They're both h's, so we can multiply, or we could add, subtract. In this case, they're somewhat, one's negative, one's positive, so we subtract, so they're unlike signs, and the answer would be negative 9.2h, and that would be our answer to that one. Negative 9.2h. That's the way to simplify. Number 4 is a little different. Why is number 4 different? Because it's got a constant in with the variables. So it's 20n minus that. So let's go look at there. 20n and negative 3n. So what are, let's do it up here. What are those terms? Well, 20n and negative 3n would be positive 17n. And then you have negative 5 and plus 10. Well, different signs, you subtract, positive 10 minus 5, so it would be plus 5. And that's your answer. We got little Halloween colors for you guys. That's it. 17n plus 5, that is as far as you can go. Do not go any further than that. Let's look at number 5. We have negative 15r, positive 4r. So how would that equal? Negative 15 plus 4 is negative 11, and you would take the variable with it. And the constant side, we have 12 and a negative 7. So we know 12 minus 7 is 5, positive. So your answer is negative 11r plus 5. Can you go any further? The answer is no. If you go further, then your answer is going to be wrong. Okay? So that is correct answer there. I'm going to go over 6, 7, and 8. You can work on these on your own by just hitting the pause button on your on the YouTube there, and then we'll come back to it. So you can hit pause, work through 6, 7, and 8, and then you can check your work when we come back. Okay, welcome back. Hopefully you were able to do a couple of these. So 7p and negative 5p. And what else? We have negative 13p. So we have 3 like terms with the variables. So 7p and negative 6p, or negative 13p would be negative 6p. So you can kind of do that if you wanted to. And put now, okay, negative 6p plus 4 minus 5p. But see, you still have negative and negative p's. Like signs, you go ahead and add. So that would be negative 11p. And then you're going to say plus 4. And that'll be your answer. Again, can't go any further. Let's look at 7. 10b, yes. Plus 3b, plus 2b. And then you have a negative 6 in there. Okay, can you see my work there? So what would the answer be on that one? Okay, your answer would be 10 plus 3 plus 2 would be 15b, and then you would say minus 6. Again, that's where you stop. The last one's a little different. It'll look different to you because, you might know why? Well, because the positive 1/5 x and negative 1/5 x will absolutely cross out. So you're going to be left with 5 plus 2, which the answer is 7. In this particular problem, the answer is just going to be a constant. It's not going to be anything else like we've been used to. Okay. So when you guys come back in, we'll review this, but you'll have a big ideas assignment or whatever assignment it tells you on Google Classroom that goes along with this 3.1. Check your Google Classroom. Make sure you're able to follow along. And then after that, we'll continue on with 3.2 and then we'll keep going. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email me. You know, I'll answer those emails for you and be able to help you with anything and have you on a Google Meet or something like that if necessary. Okay? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the lesson. I enjoyed bringing it to you and have a good day. Thank you.